gone through this tour, you've pointed out a couple of pretty cool things, like the rocks and some different things that make this river development really represent Wausau. Do you want to tell me about one of your favorites?
Yeah.
So
one of the favorite portions of this project is that it completes a major segment of the River's Edge Trail. We've been working on the trail for almost 30 years, and with this segment of the trail, we're going to have the entire east side of the river completed from Winton Street all the way down to Oak Island. It's been a long time in coming.
Yeah, this part of the river hasn't been developed and has kind of been unused. What do you think it's bringing to the Wausau area?
This development on the edge of the river is going to be a whole different level of what's happening in the community. The public infrastructure that we put in, the concept of the very high quality infrastructure is to be a leadership example for what we hope the private sector is going to follow with. Very high quality residential along the edge of the river.
What do you think it does for Wausau in terms of a city? You know, in other cities throughout the United States, you see people hanging out on the side of a patio, eating dinner by a river, like lots of play area for kids and families. What do you think this development brings to the city?
With the change in technology and how people work, where they work, they can live pretty much where they want to live. So cities need to provide great living spaces. By reclaiming this part of our riverfront, we're giving people the opportunity to live in a nice small-sized city and have access to a riverfront with a lot of different opportunities on it. Opportunities to live on the river, which don't really exist to a great extent in town, to recreate on the river, and also to have amenities, commercial, recreational, on the river.
Have there been any struggles through the process so far? I know one thing you mentioned was the weather. It's very wet right now, so you can't really do everything that you'd like to.
The project, the toughest part in the very beginning was the environmental remediation that had to occur. Getting a handle on that and funding that through a series of multiple federal and state grants. Once we got past that, then we were able to get into the design and actually lay out the areas that are available for development in the future. But the environmental, as with a lot of cities that grew up along rivers, the rivers were industrial and they were used as sewers. But that's turned around, and now we're remediating the environmental problems and turning it into a riverfront asset.
Just how many phases of construction are left on the entire project?
Actually, the current phase of doing the River's Edge Trail and the amenities along it is the second phase of the project. The environmental and the River Drive portion was the first phase. The next phase, third phase, is the public park on the north end of the project. And that phase may well take more than 1 year to bring all of the features that are hoped for in the future into that park.
And you had mentioned that there's going to be a dedication to the park. What exactly is that, and when will that be?
The dedication we're shooting for later in June. Don't have a date set yet. It depends on when we can wrap up construction. We're off to a little bit of a slow start on construction because of the wet weather that we've had. But we've had meetings with our consultants and our contractor, and in the next 2 weeks you'll be seeing a lot of activity moving into the area. And it's a matter of when we can get it done, weather dependent.
And while there's construction going on, the trail is going to be closed for a couple weeks, is that right?
Yes, starting in probably about 2 weeks, a good portion of the trail, particularly north of Stinchfield Creek, will be closed for construction up until the final concrete is laid, the final lift on the asphalt is in. We're going to try and get the southern end of the project, south of Stinchfield Creek, that work done a little bit earlier so that closure won't be quite as long, but we will be putting out public information as to what's open and what's closed as the project continues.
Okay. What will people see, toward the end of the summer? What will it look like?
Well,
or what do you
that's
hope? So we have WOW here already, and then construction will continue. What will it kind of look like in the summertime when people want to be here?
The transition that people will be seeing as construction is wrapped up is, the piles of material, leftover odds and ends, rough-looking surfaces, that's going to disappear. Everything is going to be vegetated. It'll either have grass on the open spaces, or you're going to be seeing a lot of high-end landscaping, a lot of flower and shrub masses, decorative trees, but you're also going to be seeing architectural highlights. The construction materials, the designs, I think you'll see are something we don't have elsewhere in Wausau. There's also architectural lighting that people will see, and I guess we're going to make you wait to see that until we do the dedication ceremony.
In terms of tourism, do you think this kind of development will bring people not only from Wausau, but all over north central Wisconsin here, maybe for a day trip or to spend the weekend with friends?
The riverfront development, I don't know if it's going to individually draw all by itself. The future park and the play area with the net climbers, those features, I think that will be a destination. The rest of the riverfront is going to be a great additive to what we have going on in the community already. Some of it's unknown at this time, depending on what the private developments are that come along. I see great opportunities to have a little district along the edge of the river that really attracts a lot of different people.
And what is this spot going to be here?
Right behind the wharf is going to be a mixed-use commercial building. Plans are, as we understand it, the ground floor will be retail, and the upper 2 stories will be office space.
Then there's 2 other commercial lots that are still for sale around here, right?
Yes. North of Stinchfield Creek, there's a total of 4 commercial lots. One is occupied by WOW. The second is the mixed-use commercial building right behind the wharf, and there's still 2 lots available.
As you see things coming together, what is it like for you? You've been working on this project.
I've been part of the city team working on this project, actually trying to bring the land together into city ownership. That's going back about 10 years ago. The River's Edge Trail, through my career here in Wausau, I've been working on that for about 30 years, so I've been involved one way or another, and this project brings a lot of things together.